conference to introduce our new manager Frank Lampard, and also to preview our game against Brentford this weekend. And if we can start off with Vinny O'Connor from Sky Sports, please.
Hi Frank, good to see you.
Hello, good to see you.
First of all, Frank, how would you describe the job you've got here, short term, and following on from that, the challenge that you've then got longer term?
Well, in pure footballing terms, if that's what you're saying, of course we know we're in a position that the club doesn't want to be in. I've got a lot of belief in the squad, and I've been watching the squad and their games closely from the outside, so I'm under no illusions. I feel that we have a squad that can improve quickly, I hope. I'll have my own idea and my own idea, and my staff will to try and make sure that we do that. And that starts with work on the training ground. It starts with the mindset of the group. But we understand, and I understand, that in the short term the job is to try and improve our league position. And in the long term, it's clear as well that it's a club with big ambition, huge history, huge fan base, and a joint desire throughout it to improve towards the new stadium, towards being a Premier League club that is fighting towards the top half of the table. But there's a lot of work to be done, but I'm very proud to be given this opportunity to be at the front of it in football terms as the manager.
What have you told the players about what you expect of them, and has anything surprised you in the few days that you've been working with them as well?
In terms of what I expect of them, yeah, we spoke when I first got here a few days ago, which feels like about 3 weeks ago now. It's been a busy few days, and not what I expected them. I mean, I spoke to them about football, about training, and about how we have to be as a group. And I think as a manager and my staff, we are here to lead the group, to also serve them, to give them the possibilities to improve, to work every day, to play a brand of football that our fans enjoy watching, but most importantly to get results. So those start with the building blocks, start of that every day and every moment in behaviours and in training, etc. So yeah, I spoke about the job will be, as much as it's mine to lead it, the job will be the players. And what I found in the last 3 days is that they're a very, very good group in terms of, I know they want to do really well for this football club. It's written all over their faces. So I hope to give them the direction and the organisation and the ability to express themselves within that to perform at their best.
From what we've seen, it appears the fans' welcome has been a fair bit warmer than maybe what you would have expected when you were coming here as a player. So what have you been able to gauge about the fans' reaction to your appointment?
Well, yeah, I've been really pleased. Really pleased. I didn't expect them anything differently as a player. You know, this is one of the stadiums that you came to, and sometimes you would take some words. I found a lot of them at this stadium in particular, sometimes with some good humour, which was quite a nice relief. But no, it's expected. You know, the reason we love the Premier League, and it's the reason why Everton Football Club is steeped in tradition, because of how people feel about this club. So I was very pleased. I was very thankful for the messages of support, the general support. I don't expect support, and I don't expect universal support. People have their own opinions. They're very that's their own right. But at the same time, I hope, as much as I have support now, and I'm thankful that people will see how I have a work ethic. The fans will see, and how I'm going to embrace this job in terms of everything that I do in the workplace, everything I do about myself around the club. And trying to lead it, and if they see that, and I think if they see the reaction on the pitch, which is obviously my job, I hope that support will continue. But yes, I've been very thankful so far, and I appreciate it.
What did that business you did on deadline day say about the support that you're going to get from within the club as well, and what do you think you can get out of Dele Alli and Donny van der Beek that maybe we haven't seen from them in recent times?
Well, I've had really positive conversations with the owner, with the board, and with the club in general from the first moment we started to speak. So it was very linked together, and you know, particularly with the chairman Bill Kenwright was fantastic in those conversations as well. And I can see why people hold this club in such regard, because it's a club, people's club. In terms of the business that we did, I think with both Dele and Donny, they're both very separate cases, and I think I just look at the player and I look at the person, and I had conversations with both. They're both very, very talented players. They're players I've gone up against in different ways in the past, and was very impressed with them. And sometimes it's good to get a player that has a point to prove in a certain way, because they come here with a hunger, with a good hunger to come and show themselves. So in both their own separate ways, I trust in their talent, I trust in them as people. My job now is to set the environment and as a coach and for the staff and to work them and support them and show the talents that we all know they have. This, this natural ability that they have, and we have to harness it in those and then get that and join that into the squad, because we have some talent that's already sitting here in this squad. So it's my job to put it all together.
And Ashley Cole coming in, does that complete your backroom staff now? How important was it to keep Duncan Ferguson as well? And will you miss Jody Morris?
Yeah, it was very important. Ashley's first day is today, to try and bring Ashley in. And I don't need to talk about Ashley the player. We all know it. We all know the record of him. Probably the greatest left back that we've produced in this country. But what I brought Ashley for is not just that. I brought him for the great coach that he's going to be at this club, for the work ethic that he's put in, and I've seen it behind the scenes to become a very good young coach. I brought Ashley in for not just that, for the person that he is and how great he will be around the group to offer words of experience, but also to work alongside them, to improve them alongside all my staff. So the team is together. I was delighted to work with Duncan, because I saw him from afar. I saw him close up actually a couple of years ago when they beat us, and we had a laugh about that in the last couple of days. But he's a club legend. He's a person that the players respect, the club respects, the fans respect, and I can only help from tapping into his experience and knowledge from being here as well. I'm very open and accommodating in this role, and there's no way I'd ever want to be a person to do anything but look at what's the best for this job. And having Duncan around has been great. I've really enjoyed the few days.
And both Carlo and Rafa spoke when they took the job about the pull of the new stadium, the potential to take Everton into that new stadium. Did you speak to both Carlo and Rafa? And also is that prospect of going to Bramley-Moore part of your motivation here as well?
I didn't speak to them. I've got a huge respect for both of them. I'm particularly close to Carlo because I worked with him for a certain period, and we kept a relationship after that. He's an absolute gentleman, and I will speak to him at some point. I will catch up with him, but I didn't want to have any preconceived ideas about the club. It was very clear to me from my first conversations. It was very clear to me. I know Everton Football Club from the outside. I'll now know it intimately from the inside. But it was clear to me the size of this club and the job, and obviously the ambition, which is clear. As an identity, you can see the stadium that's going to start building up very soon to the eye is a huge thing. I would love to be part of that, but I cannot get too far ahead of myself. We have important jobs on our plate in the next 2-3 months or so this season, and then we can start dealing with what the future looks like.
Thanks, Vinny. We'll go to Rebecca Coles at Premier League Productions, please.
Thanks. Firstly, welcome back to the Premier League. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
How do you reflect on the lessons you've learned so far in your managerial career, and how do you think it will benefit both yourself and Everton going forward?
Well, I think I'm a person that always reflects, and it's good to reflect, but it's also good not to over-reflect, because some things you did well. And I think when I reflect on my career at Derby, we had a really exciting year. Almost got to the incredible prize of getting to the Premier League. And at Chelsea, in reflection, I probably had a really enjoyable and good 17 months with the first year of Champions League against expectations and FA Cup final, and then in my second season we were top of the league, and then you realise the reality of football at the top end, that probably in a difficult month and a loss of form, and then I lose my job. But that's something I'm aware can happen in the game, because I've been in it so long, and I look at it with real reflection now. So within that, you look at the small things and the small details. Could you have done this better? Could you have done that? I'm very open and in that sense. So hopefully I can bring those experiences of my career so far, and I want to get better, and I want to make the players around me better, and I want to make this club better, and that's all I have to look for, rather than looking back, is just to look forward at what I can do here.
What do you think you've learnt about the team in the short time that you spent with them over the last few days, maybe that you didn't know before?
Well, I think you should never overanalyse before. I knew the squad, I looked at them a lot, but at the same time it's always different when you see people in the flesh, see them on the training ground, see how they act, see the body language, and I've been really impressed. And I hate to speak too much because you shouldn't speak before you start the games, because this game is all about results. But in my job, when you look at the players of the last 3 days, I've seen a talented group, a group maybe that has maybe had some, a hit on the confidence as losing games can do. I've been there many a time, as we all do in our careers. So I have a clear idea of what my priorities are to go with first, to try and get the uplift that we need straight away. But I'm very trusting in this group, and I'll work with them, and I hope people will see from the outside that work, because it will show in the results.
Thinking about a game of results as well, will you be playing a strong team, or do you think you'll be giving the youth some chance like you have done in the past?
Well, I'll always play a strong team as I see it, and young players will get their chance when they deserve it. What I am at first is open to seeing the young players, to see them in training if they deserve their chance. I'm always, and my staff are very open with the academy to keep an open eye to players that come through, because there's nothing better for the fans to grab onto than to seeing players come through their own academy. But they have to earn their chance. But once they do that, then I'll trust in them. But now, of course, my priority here is to get results, and alongside that, if you can develop young talent, bring them into the first team, then of course I'll try and do that.
Thanks, Rebecca. We'll go to Alistair McGowan at the BBC, please.
Frank, welcome back to the Northwest.
Thank you.
Just wondered whether, there's been quite a high turnover of managers at Everton, something maybe you were used to at your time in Chelsea, but I just wondered whether you had any hesitations based on that high turnover and coming into Everton.
No, I didn't, because I think this is the business that we live in and we work in. It's not my job to analyse things that happened before me too much, because you don't know the circumstance. I always like to take at face value, and as I mentioned before, having spoke to the owner and the chairman and the board here, and it was so open, which was something that was very refreshing to me to see so many important football people within the club united in trying to find the best way forward, which is a position we find ourselves in now. But I didn't concern myself too much. Like you say, I've been experienced in 2 jobs now. When I went to Derby County, everyone told me that they changed managers all the time. Same at Chelsea. Look through the Premier League. It's easily said, but I have to sort of put that to the side and just work and understand and actually appreciate the fact that I'm working for a great club and give it my all.
And obviously, you mentioned Derby and Chelsea. They're obviously challenging at the top end of the league in both cases. I just wondered whether you can assure fans about your appetite for what is a relegation battle on the face of it at the minute.
Well, I can assure fans that I'll give absolutely everything. I think you can say about Chelsea, I had some very good times there, but I certainly, as a player, had some difficult times. I played before I went to Chelsea at West Ham. I moved around as I got older. I managed at Derby County, where the championship, as everyone says, is a real marathon through the year, and you can have good periods and bad periods. So I don't concern myself. I don't get concerned about what position it is in the table. I just look at literally what's in front of me. And of course you're aware of it, but we will be defined this season in the next 18 games by the work and the focus we put in on the training ground, and by how we can be united between players, club and fans, because the fans have such a huge input here into performance, particularly at Goodison. I felt it on the reverse of that. So I'll try and bring all that together, and that's all I have to think about now.
Thanks, Alistair. We'll go to Ian Abrahams, please.
Thanks, Andy. Frank, you're back.
I'm back. How are you, Moose?
I'm very well. I thought
Good.
I'd never see the day. I thought you'd taken far too long in getting back into football. So, is this the
I missed you, Moose.
I missed you too, Frank. Is this the ideal job you've been waiting for then?
No, in terms of I haven't been waiting for an ideal job. I've been, not working, time for reflection, and people wanted to talk about what is the ideal job. There isn't one in football. It's something that has to feel right on both sides. So I was never in a position where I was hanging out waiting, but from the first moments I started speaking with Everton and understood the ambition, and as I said before, with the owner and the chairman, and a real awareness of the size of the club, it was something that for me was a hugely exciting challenge. So it was pretty clear in those terms, Moose, but I haven't been sitting around waiting for anything particular in the last year. I've actually been enjoying a little bit of family time and focusing on how I can, where I wanted to go when the right opportunity came.
obviously, just two more questions. Obviously, it's very different to Chelsea, but why have Everton underachieved this season? I mean, why, from what you've watched from an outsider's point of view, what have you got to put right straight away?
Well, I mentioned it before, Moose, and I've been in this situation before many a time, and to different degrees, but sometimes when you lose games or you're having a bad period of form, it can affect confidence of the players. So my job instantly is to affect that in terms of to bring a real positive atmosphere, positive words, positive messaging. And I have seen things within the way the team are playing that practically I feel they can do better. And every manager will have a different view of how they want to play. My job now is to get as quickly as I can to the point where you can see the imprint I have on this team. In 3 days, I think we've worked very well, but that work has to continue every day.
Finally, Dele Alli, one, is it a gamble taking him on? And secondly, he's kind of been written off in the last 2 years. Are you, because you were world class in the position and you know exactly what he has to do to succeed, are you the ideal person to put him back where he was 4 years ago at the World Cup in Russia?
Well, I don't want to give too many major headlines to this because it's easy to be over the top about that side of it. What I see, and I watched Dele come through, fantastic player, and maybe he's had difficult times. You know, I will make no bones about that, nor would he. But there can be so many reasons for that, and my job really now is to start with a fresh slate with him, to have him in an environment that suits him and supports him, but also to push him and to extract that player that we just know is there. You know, all the attributes, all the talent, all the technique, everything is still there. And sometimes I think we're much more aware now in the modern day of how there are many factors that can affect in life, in sport. You know, how happy you are doing your job or why it might not work in the right way. So I just have to find the right environment for Dele. And the best thing for me, and it's hard when he's such a big name and such a top player, is to do it quietly. But our job now is just to get to work and then just allow him to express his talent. I'm very excited to have him. I'm very excited to have Donny. They are fantastic players. They come to the squad and hopefully give us a lift. And again, the job now is just to work with them.
Thanks very much, Ian.
Thank you.
We'll go to Mike Hughes at Radio Merseyside, please.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, hello.
Yeah, I know you've touched on it previously, but it is in some ways uncharted territory for you, managerially wise, taking over a team that's in such a poor run of current form. I think it's 1 win in 14, and a league position as parlous as this. So, how much of a different challenge does it represent for you?
Yeah, I think that the challenge is different. The main challenge I feel is that the 2 jobs I've had as a manager, I've had a pre-season and gone in, and then you have a period of time to build through a season. This is different, but I'm very aware of that. So I have to prioritise what my message is, what my work is to get through to the players, and also put some perspective on the fact that there's 18 games to play for, half a season. So of course, nobody would be happy with the run that we've been on in terms of points over the first half of the season. But I have to also bring in an element of calm to the players and to the club, and also an element of looking at ourselves and saying that there's a huge amount of talent. If I didn't believe in that, if I didn't think I was the man to come and bring that out and harness it, then I wouldn't be here. So I'm not concerned about that. I just want to come and make sure that I get to work very quickly and the players respond to that quickly. And then I believe once we do that, we can go in the right direction.
The signings of Donny van der Beek and Dele Alli will hopefully give both players individual lease of life, which will obviously benefit the team. With Dele Alli in particular, can you see something of you in your sort of prime, in Dele Alli in his prime, the late runs into the box, the ability to run in behind?
Yeah, I think we're different. I think it's an easy comparison because of, goal scoring midfield player, but I think in terms of our position on the pitch, I think I probably started a bit deeper, whereas Dele, I feel sometimes from a slightly higher position can be more effective, particularly in his early Tottenham years when he played just off of Harry Kane. But I do think also he is a versatile player and that he can get involved in link-up play and he can arrive from deeper areas. So I'm very interested to work closely with him, and we've already spoken about this, to see just how we can bring out all those talents that he has. But yeah, it's nice for me on a personal note as a coach to work with someone that occupies similar areas of the field, that has similar instincts to want to get forward. So yeah, I'll try and improve those individually, but more importantly, get them into the team in the right way to bring us balance.
Winning against Brentford on Saturday will get you into round 5 of the FA Cup. That in itself is important, but it's worth so much more by way of what it could give you as you and the team as towards a springboard, new momentum, and then it's upward, and it's a different thing again, isn't it?
Well, yeah, we hope so, and I don't want to make too many drastic statements about the Brentford game or the Newcastle game, because we have to work, and as I said, we have 18 league games, but clearly, absolutely. I mean, I've been very impressed with the players and the lift I sense in the last few days in training of coming in and working with them. And the next step from that is definitely results. And what could be better, hopefully, than Goodison and the atmosphere that I'm sure we'll get at Saturday, and the opportunity to get into the next round of a cup that the club has a history of. I know not as recent as we'd like, but with the talent we have in the squad, we want to go as far as we can in this cup, and then we want to be able to carry on that momentum. So yes, it's a big game for us on that sense.
Thanks, Mike. We'll go to Andy Hampson at the Press Association, please.
Hello, Frank.
Hi.
What sort of challenge are you facing in your first game against Brentford?
Well, Challenge are a very good team. I think everyone who's watching the Premier League this year can see that it's a very well constructed team. Big talent in the team, a great organisation and style of play, and a philosophy that goes right throughout the club, and the manager harnesses brilliantly from the outside. So it'll be a very tough match, and we have to be at our absolute best. We will prepare, organise, give the players all the information they need. And as always, I think when you have a team with the talent that we have and the situation we're in, we must focus on ourselves. Understand Brentford are a very good team, but we must focus on ourselves because we are also a very good team.
And just in terms of the basic general team news, how is the squad looking for this weekend? Have you got any fitness concerns at all?
No, I mean, Dominic Calvert-Lewin picked up a small knock in the last game, so he won't be available for this weekend with Dominic, and we know Doucouré out, Fabien Delph is out, unfortunately, which will be slightly longer than that. But with Dominic, we hope he can be back and outside over the next days and ready for the games coming up. But other than that, we are pretty good. And yeah, I'm happy with where we're at. We obviously have some players that are cup tied also, so I'm aware of where the squad is.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you.
We'll just take one more in the open section from Jim Conlon, please.
Hi Frank, great talking to you again, Frank. Frank, on the acquisitions there of Donny and Dele on the final day, was that maybe when you looked at your team and you saw Doucouré and Alan as your deep line playmakers, that you wanted Donny in terms of that attacking element, and was really the acquisition of Dele maybe to purchase what Everton lost when James Rodriguez left the club in terms of that creativity, that flair?
I didn't think of direct replacements, but I think it was an area of the pitch where we felt, of course, as you mentioned, Doucouré is injured, hopefully not for too long. But I think in terms of the style and how maybe we want to move the team to play maybe in a slightly different way, a player like Donny is someone who can link play, can receive the ball in all areas, has the confidence and intelligence to receive and play and move the ball. And I think it's a slightly different profile of player to maybe what we have, that's slightly also versatile in midfield. And Dele, yeah, like I've spoken about Dele before, he also has his own versatile nature. But we highlight it as an area where we have some injuries. We want uplift, obviously, very, very quickly. But they're also players, and particularly Dele, because he's a permanent, that we see are big players for the future of the club and can help performance. So yeah, we had a clear idea why we brought them both in, and we hope that they add a lot in that middle of the park area.